Hey guys, it's OKB, and I'm here with, well, a lot of people on the server right now, and also the Coffin community here. We're gonna do the top supports of early 2021. I mean 2022. Sorry, 2022, and this is gonna be hard because in the last video we did the top position ones, and we're only looking at one ninja at a time. When we're looking at supports, you need two supporting ninjas for your position one. So you're looking at a combination of two ninjas plus your main character. So that's technically two ninja that can be anything, and your main character, which has 5 choices. That's very hard, and so I'm gonna do my best. But you guys might hate on me for some of the choices that I make, because it's just way too complicated, and you might have different ninjas. You might not have the ninjas to use some of these supports. So just keep in mind that even if I put a ninja really high up on the list, it doesn't mean you should get it. It means it's pretty good compared to the current meta, and the current meta can change, of course. Susanoo Shisui, we're gonna build around him in the top, but towards the bottom, I'm gonna kind of separate it out to ninjas that can be used across many different ninjas. Okay, so let's go with top supports of early 22, and you guys might actually be surprised, but Susanoo Shisui is actually one of the top, or pretty much the top support ninjas. Except at the moment, you wouldn't want to use him as a support. I literally could not find another ninja that would be better than him in position 1 at the moment. However, he does increase when he becomes support. When we have the next meta, he will be the top support for you, and he increases initiative. He lets people get an extra standard attack if they're hit with taijutsu, or at least a chance with that. With one of his breakthroughs, his mystery is able to lock down somebody's mystery cooldown by 2, and this is not affected by control, so you can literally think of it as a double threat, because oftentimes in the high level of play, there's a lot of control fail, so your position 2 won't be able to control someone else's position 1 because they stacked their position 1 and you didn't stack your position 2, at least in control. But yeah, Susanoo Shisui does not require control. He increases initiative, he creates a lot of extra standard attacks, and he has irremovable ignition, all these a huge combination of buffs. All right, just put that all together, and he's a very, very strong support with a lot of traps for your opponent. Really, as a position 1, he already supports himself really, really well. I mean, I don't think there's a support out there that supports him even better than he supports himself. So if he had 2 Susanoo Shisuis on the field, it would beat out another Susanoo Shisui and something else, in my opinion, right? There could be maybe like Izanagi Danzo and Ronin Haku. Those are some exceptions, maybe, but we'll see. So yeah, number 1 is definitely Susanoo Shisui. And yes, I am basing these supports on fighting against the top ninjas at the moment. Rinnegan Sasuke is number 2, and that's because he's useful against Susanoo Shisui no matter where. He has the fear factor, which basically means you can't get an extra standard attack, you can't get shields, and you can't buff up, really. I mean, you technically can buff up, I guess, if it's a part of your own ability set, but you can't get shields or buffs, like Iruka can't give you shields and buffs at the same time. And you can't make someone immune to status, so on and so forth. But Rinnegan Sasuke is great against Susanoo Shisui, and he's often used in these teams. It's a no-brainer, right? But you can't just use Rinnegan Sasuke. You got to use him with someone else, and Indra is often a good one just to ignite the person, because he hits through immunity to status, so it's very powerful. Just stop their standard attacks and stop their healing. Yeah, Susanoo Shisui does heal himself, so yeah, you can. This is a pretty typical team. There could be other supports, more costly ninjas, but I just figured this is a good standard team that you guys can think of if you have Susanoo Shisui, or if you're trying to fight against Susanoo Shisui at least. You can even throw in Tentails Obito over here and kind of stop some Susanoo Shisui abilities, but it won't be enough necessarily. But yeah, Rinnegan Sasuke, 1 versus 1. I've seen it in bonds in 3 versus 3. Rinnegan Sasuke is always all over. Okay. Hiruzen Sarutobi is number 3, and a lot of people will be surprised here. Hiruzen Sarutobi can be used in literally any team, and with his breakthroughs, he's not pure ninjutsu anymore. So when your opponent attacks him and kills Hiruzen will revive, and with his mystery, he'll be able to deal a humongous amount of damage to even a position 1. Actually, more than 50% of their HP. Something like 70%, I'll say, if you're at equal power. It does depend on how much you stack. His damage is based on life, so in his mood scrolls, you want to make sure you put it on life. But yeah, he does a lot of damage, and it's great if you want to blitz him out. Actually, instead of this team, I might have put in Indra here for Anxiety, because Anxiety deals more damage when you have more HP, and then Hiruzen can finish you off. And that would be a really awesome combination, even as just as a support. I put this sort of a team because, well, I just want to demonstrate that this is like Obito if you're going against another Obito. This Black Zetsu can suppress immunity guaranteed against Jinchuriki, so it's 6-pass Naruto or Tendo's Obito, which are some of the top ninjas being used. And I just figured, okay, we have these ninjas, and they're doing all their own thing. Well, then you can throw in a Hiruzen if you have 3 ninjas that work together and you don't really need anything else. You know, Hiruzen's good for anybody, really. Unless you're fighting against... I mean, Edo Madara is immune to ninjutsu, so you do need his breakthroughs, but he is up there, and I've seen him being used in space-time over and over again, no matter the era. So this is why I'm putting him up here. Now, a lot of whales might criticize me, but you know, I figured this is an all-rounder that just works everywhere, really. Okay, but yeah, he can be controlled and whatever, but it's a massive threat. Indra Otsusuki is number 4. I'm a little iffy about this one, but he should be at least 4 to 6, ranked 4 to 6, because one, he has irremovable ignition that goes through immunity to status, which is awesome whenever people hit him. He has 90% evasion until he makes a move, and he has, I mean, ignoring all these attacks, he has anxiety, which actually helps if you want to blitz out somebody. So anxiety makes you take damage whenever you make a move, including chase. So if you use it against Susanoo Shisui, for example, and he keeps moving, he keeps attacking, maybe you have Rinnegan Sasuke behind him. Izanagi Danzo, I just put him here for the Kimono Shisui, because I don't want to make this more free to play too. But yeah, you can run this with Kimono Shisui and have Root and run a warrior triad here. But yeah, you can make them ignite ignitions. Shisui is great with ignition too, so it'll also give him extra attacks. But yeah, his main thing is really just igniting people who are immune to status, who attack, and also anxiety, which causes make them, well, deal damage to themselves so that you can blitz them out, or at least have even if you don't blitz them out, you'll deal more damage. You know, you're stopping them from healing, you're making sure they take more damage in the beginning, and you might be able to kill them in 2 or 3 rounds. But yeah, Indra is used in a lot of different types of teams. If I wanted to talk about him, I could go for an hour, maybe. Okay. Ronin Zabuza is next. Let me see if any Discord comments here. Black Zetsu is a unit. Yes, he is. He was paywalled, but he is useful. I mean, because Shisui is the top one now, so you don't actually see people getting Black Zetsu. But if Tento's Obito was still the top, you would see a lot of people trying to go for Black Zetsu, because he does go pretty well against Obito. Okay, Ronin Zabuza is next, and that's also because of Shisui. But Ronin Zabuza also goes against 6-pass Naruto. So here's the thing. If you have 2 Shisuis on the field, and yeah, I have Rinnegan Sasuke here just to stop from extra standing attacking, but if you have 2 Shisuis on the field, and it gets into round 2, right? Because people, people who have strategy, they're going to make it so that Shisui's damage does not deal as much. So Shisui, in round 2, they would probably have to aim for Ronin Zabuza, because Ronin Zabuza seals standard attacks for about 2 rounds. He steals all the standard attacks, and he seals his ability to even do a standard attack for 2 rounds. So that's a pretty big deal when you're fighting against a Shisui. So your opponent really has to aim for Ronin Zabuza, in which case your Shisui can aim for their Shisui, stop them from mistering, right? For mistering for 2 rounds or so. That's, you know, if you're even faster, I think you might even be able to use your Shisui on the other side, and then you can use Ronin Zabuza on the other side, and your Shisui might be the only guy attacking for 4 rounds. Or first round, no, but round 2, 3, 4, you'll be suppressing standard attacks. The problem is initiative, and he can sort of get controlled, so some riskier, and that's kind of why I put him below Rinnegan Sasuke. Rinnegan Sasuke has fear. It's a chance, but you know, it's your opponent's always going to attack you, so you have a much higher chance of activating the fear than you do of Ronin Zabuza. But this Ronin Zabuza threat is real, right? It just forces your opponent to suppress Ronin Zabuza. And maybe you can even throw in GNW Obito or something like that. You know, maybe if you have GNW Obito, if they somehow survive, all right, you can throw in Earthmane, maybe that's enough. But yeah, if you can force your opponent to attack one or the other or just both, see if they can control all sides. And if they can't, then, well, GNW Obito will disappear, there's Susanoo Shisui, and you'll get a lot more buffs than your opponent by the time his Shisui comes back. Okay, GNW Orochimaru. So GNW Orochimaru would be the best if Susanoo Shisui was not, well, doesn't exist. But he's here, and the reason he's below the other metas, the other support metas, is because the Minato that he summons actually causes tag and lowers defense, ignition, and Susanoo Shisui gets extra standard attacks whenever he is affected by a debuff. Similar to how 6 passive pain does it as well. So yeah, this is the number one reason why GNW Orochimaru is no longer the top. However, if you use him outside of it, or if you throw him down here so that Susanoo Shisui hits everyone else first, it could work. All right, it could work. But it's risky, and that risk, you know, whenever there's risk, I put him a little bit lower down. But if you manage to get him off without giving everyone an extended attack, you can increase your attack defensive resistance in round 1 before anything happens, unless someone else has a GNW Orochimaru. But you'll summon your Minato for 100% defensive resistance. It's not reliant on a barrier, which is kind of nice, because people can change the barrier. And yeah, I mean, you can just summon, round 1 he summons 100% defensive resistance. Round 2 he gets 80% attack and ninjutsu from two ninjas. That one of them has dodge, a lot of them has chases. And round 3, if you even get to round 3, Edo Hashirama interrupts everything, and he just basically interrupts everything and deals a whole bunch of damage and buffs all the Edo Hokages that Orochimaru summons at the beginning of each round. So yeah, there's a lot of, like, he's risky in that, you know, you could kill him and all his Hokages disappear, but he does give himself a lot of defense resistance when he's summoned. So he, in a way, he defends himself. It's a pretty big deal. Right? It's risky, but at the same time, he's also great for combos. Almost forgot to mention that. A lot of combos with all these mysteries that come out of him. So yeah, people would use him a lot. If Shisui did not exist, he would be the top, really. Okay. Number 7 is Edo Madara, and I like this because not just because he goes against 6-pass Naruto. I mean, he could be position 1 and fight against 6-pass Naruto and still win. But because he does have this risky, well, he's immune to ninjutsu. He's also when the first time someone hits him, it actually deals damage. So if you deal pure ninjutsu damage, he as a support, he'll heal, and that's actually kind of nice. So having a support that heals whenever you do pure ninjutsu damage is a pretty big deal, and there's a lot of ninjas that actually do pure ninjutsu damage. But on top of that, if you hit him, you actually increase the person's mystery cooldown by 1. It's very random, but it's a pretty nice. It's just nice to have this extra random factor that your opponent doesn't expect, or has to watch out for if they understand the abilities. He also drains pretty much all chakra if you put him on the right breakthrough. Also suppresses immunity to status with his chase. So yeah, he drains chakra, all that stuff. He has a lot of the standard stuff. He has he's Edo Tensei, so it's actually kind of nice that you have Edo Sasori here to support him as well. And he also, if you set him on his 30% decrease in damage breakthrough, that's also making sure that he stays on the field long enough. But yeah, if you manage to get him off as a support, his mystery, you'll actually be able to cause something similar to fear, like Rinnegan Sasuke's fear, but to everybody that's being hit. And yeah, if you throw him with Edo Nagato too, like basically your entire your opponent's entire team does not get an extra standard attack. So does not get standard attacks and cannot get extra standard attacks. So yeah, the Edo Madara here, it's quite nice. I think people forget about him because he's used so much in position 1. But yeah, he's a good all-rounder. All right, similar to how GNW Orochimaru is, except Orochimaru's gives more. Also, that barrier that he gives is pretty good if you don't want any buffs on, or you want to remove buffs, or if you want to fight against Toast Chance Jiraiya, which is number 8. Now, yeah, Toast Chance Jiraiya, he actually does a lot of damage as a support, if you get his barrier off, of course. Now, he has some weaknesses, but let's see. His great points are that he can suppress Edo Madara, at least for the round that he needs it to. As a support, yeah, so you can probably stop Edo Madara from mistering in a single round, but you can suppress immunity to status with extreme chaos, though this does rely on control. So there's, maybe just not your opponent's position 1, but really your opponent's position 2, 3, 4. Right? You can suppress their immunity to status, cost extreme chaos, which actually costs chakra to remove, and so that's an extra thing. He also gains chakra for any senjutsu users, at least up to 2 per round. He also removes all the debuffs he has on himself at each round, so that's kind of helpful. And then he reduces resistance. So that, I mean, reducing resistance is always great with 6-pass Naruto, which is why I put him there. But it's also good for a lot of other ninjas. Even Edo Madara could work with him, but Edo Madara technically does have his barrier ability, so it doesn't actually fit. But yeah, Jiraiya can stop anyone with a barrier from mystery, and that's really just an anti-Edo Madara thing. But he also removes all the chakra limits from Tendo's Obito, and so you would actually also use Tendo's Obito here. I mean, he's used for, aside from Susanoo Shisui, which actually probably doesn't really help against Susanoo Shisui, he can be used to go. You don't exactly counter Edo Madara and Tendo's Obito, but he can suppress some of their abilities, right? I put Ashura here just for repulse knockdown, extra chase with 6-pass Naruto. I mean, he also causes repulse from his 15 combo chase if you get 15 combo. That's also one of the reasons I put 6-pass Naruto. He causes a lot of combos. So yeah, the repulse works well with Ashura and then 6-pass Naruto. He's not immune to status. He doesn't have sort of defense or resistance increase though, so there is some risk here against another 6-pass Naruto. But if you do put him as a position 1, there are some teams you can run. Okay, yeah. But yeah, Toshiya Shiraya is good against certain types of metas that are pretty popular to run, but not everything, right? Because he doesn't have a lot of defense against control and, well, just defense and resistance. Number 9 is Rizzo Tsunade. I'm not 100% sure on this one, but Rizzo Tsunade just, I mean, being able to survive for 2 rounds no matter what is pretty important. The exception is if someone uses Kimono Kakashi on you or GNW Obito, but that's a whole other thing, and that's oftentimes you can probably fight against and control some of those ninjas. But if you yourself are using Rizzo Tsunade, first of all, you can use a double healer, and that's gonna let your team survive long enough. I put Edo Zabuza here for free to play, but yeah, I mean, you're just removing debuffs with these healers. Rizzo Tsunade will heal 2 times, I think, at least starting out. But her mystery can revive a ninja. And so if, for example, GNW Obito somehow dies, you can revive Obito whenever you want, actually starting with 0 chakra, so you can actually wait to round 2. And you can revive him and then have Obito just make someone disappear, really. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Someone was going to mention something. I'm guessing the frog ceiling thing is meant to be his second mystery. Actually, for Jiraiya, so for Toast Chance Jiraiya here, his mystery, it's like the thing he does before his standard attack. So rather than that, it's more like an Indra-like ability, an Indra extra damage ability. Not necessarily a second mystery, right? Okay, yeah. Rizzo Tsunade, though, that revival ability also means a status, but of course you can suppress that if you want. But yeah, surviving for 2 rounds is a pretty big deal, no matter what. You can also annoy people in stage with this. Yeah, just summon a lot. I don't know. If you want to run a troll team, Rizzo Tsunade is up there, and it also stops. It also makes people not want to attack you as much, especially the whales that want to go for a really high streak in stage or something. but not by that much. Okay, number 10 is Akatsuki Christian Kakuzu, which is great if you're able to attack the other side and actually defeat one of their ninjas. This is a pretty standard team, though I randomly put the formation because I forgot which formation I was going to use. But basically, yeah, this is pretty standard for free-to-play. 6-Fast Naruto, Rinnegan Sasuke, Akatsuki Christian Kakuzu. Though I think Edo Madara now is probably better. But yeah, Akatsuki Christian Kakuzu basically revives everybody whenever you kill a ninja. This in 3 versus 3, that literally means if one of your teammates kill a ninja, your Akatsuki Christian Kakuzu can revive your entire team with an increase of ninjutsu and resistance by 30%. And you can do this 3 times in a battle, so 90% is actually not bad. And this constant revival is kind of nice too. Even if you don't put Rinnegan Sasuke, you could put something like GNW Obito, right? And that's going to be like a humongous whole different thing because now you're going to remove somebody from the field. And it could be a position 1, and that could actually lead you to a win in 3 versus 3 or 2 versus 2. In 1 versus 1, it's less likely, but yeah, we're leaning 70% on 1 versus 1, but I think it really would, like, he's just really powerful in 3 versus 3 and 2 versus 2, not just arena, outside of arena as well, right? Even if you're a weak guy, if you have someone really strong on your team and you're fighting another like a weak guy, strong guy, weak guy versus weak guy, strong guy, and weak guy. You can run Akatsuki Christian Kakuzu with GNW Obito as position 1, and your strong guy can aim to attack the other side and then revive your GNW Obito using your Kakuzu ability. Because when an enemy ninja dies, you revive up to 3 times in the round, and then you can use your GNW Obito on the strong guy on the other side, and that would just destroy the other side. Almost, not always completely, but like a lot. It stops them from scaling, at least for a single round. Akatsuki Christian Kakuzu has a lot of uses. Just in general though, just reviving giving 6-Fast Naruto a lot of buffs is pretty nice. It also works with Edo Madara, of course. Okay, Ronin, Haku, and Izanagi and Danzo. So, as a support, as I mentioned earlier, you do want to think about supports as groups of 3 almost, like groups of 2, but also with your main character. So technically groups of 3. And Ronin, Haku, and Izanagi Danzo are all swordsmen / Anbu sort of ninjas. So it's really about Shisui. For the free-to-play version, it's Kimono Shisui. For the strong, the Susanoo Shisui version, which is the whale version, Izanagi Danzo and Ronin Haku can really increase his critical hit to the point where he's just going to critical hit everything all the time. And since Susanoo Shisui or Kimono Shisui, they hit a lot of people, right? Or Susanoo Shisui especially splash damages. So a lot of critical rates on splash damage means just humongous blitz. And Susanoo Shisui doesn't really need anyone to, remove his debuffs because he reflects them. So same thing with Kimono Shisui. But yeah, because they're so restricted to Shisui and you might not have Shisui, I'm putting them a little bit lower on the list. But if I were to put everything about Shisui, then this would be much higher on the list. I'm just considering overall a lot of people don't have Shisui. So yeah, aside from the top ninjas, I'm not gonna insist on just Shisui supports. Okay, but yeah, this sort of a 2 ninja combination, either one, I'm gonna put at 11. Edo Dan Kato breakthroughs. And I've tested this out recently, and it was kind of nice. It doesn't always work the way you want it to, but you do have Enfeeble these days, and Enfeeble lowers your attack and ninjutsu by 70%, which is a huge amount. Which means you can, technically, basically what Dan does is suppress immunity to status, except it's not affected by control. Other ninjas outside of Arena, of course, are affected by control. Edo Itachi, even with his breakthroughs, cannot hit through immunity to status. He doesn't suppress immunity like Edo Dan does. And yeah, I mean, that's just the thing. Suppressing immunity is such a huge deal. Now, I thought about putting Rinnegan Sasuke with Chaos here. It didn't work out as well as I thought. So yeah, Minato seems to be the better one here. So even if Minato's barrier is removed, you're still going to reduce their attack and ninjutsu by a lot. And then you have your position 1, which actually could be anything, but I just put Kimono Shisui because he has a perfect chase with Dawn, which is low knockdown, and then Minato, which is knockdown repulse. So it'd be like repulse low, low knockdown, knockdown repulse, repulse low, low knockdown, knockdown repulse, so on, so on, so on. All right. Yeah, Edo Dan is still new. I might be wrong about him, but so far I see his potential. So that's why I'm putting him on the list at the moment. He suppresses immunity, and he can do it through control. So that's the number one thing I see about him, right? He also, I think, if you hit him with Taijutsu, you get drain chakra and causes immobilize. Pretty nice stuff, similar to how Summer Kurenai is, but main thing is just suppressing immunity to status. Could be wrong. Whales, tell me out. Go ahead and tell me if I'm wrong, but I think I see the potential here. Edo Itachi is next, and yeah, we were just thinking about him too, right? Edo Itachi breakthroughs. You're able to dream 2 times. Awesome control. But your control is really limited to your opponent's position 2, 3, and 4 ninjas. And Edo Dan is, well, he can affect your position 1 ninja. And so a position 1 ninja is much more important than a position 2 or 3 or 4 ninja. That's why I put Edo Itachi down here, but I could be wrong. Maybe it's better to suppress a lot of these supports because the supports are just that much more important. It's possible. Okay, I put Kimono Kakashi with this team here because, well, Edo Itachi is able to use his mystery in round 1, and Kimono Kakashi can just remove somebody from the field. So if you're running 6-pass Naruto, for example, here, and your opponent has Rinnegan Sasuke, well, you can use Edo Itachi to deal some damage, and then Kimono Kakashi will chase that damage and cause more damage to Rinnegan Sasuke. And by the time Rinnegan Sasuke comes back from Kimono Kakashi's disappear ability, 6-pass Naruto will have enough scaling to kill Rinnegan Sasuke, hopefully in 1 hit. Maybe 2 hits, but yeah, hopefully 1 hit. That's like a thing you guys can try, but Edo Itachi just in general is good against pure ninjutsu attacks with its breakthroughs. It's up to 3 times, and 6-pass Naruto is one of the most used ninjas right now, so it's a perfect anti-6-pass Naruto ninja, right? He's going to go lower on the list in the future, but for now, because 6-pass Naruto is everywhere, even though Edo Madara is better, Edo Itachi breakthroughs are nice. I'm going to try to get him in Fuku deals, just to try him out, have some fun, hopefully with Kimono Kakashi, but that'll have to be on my 181 account. Yeah, I put Water Main just for healing, just extra defense, but any main could really work here. Except for, well, Lightning Main is less helpful. That's the only one left. Okay, Sage Kabuto. Actually, okay, anything else? No. Okay, Sage Kabuto increases people's mystery cooldown by 1, but this is at random. If you use, with his breakthroughs, with his standard breakthroughs, his standard attack basically increases a random ninja's mystery by 1, which it's sometimes helpful, sometimes not. His standard attack is dodgeable, but he does get an extra standard attack whenever someone else uses a mystery. So if someone uses a mystery, 6-pass Naruto will get extra standard attack, and Sage Kabuto will get extra standard attack, and that might mess someone else's team up a little bit. He can technically revive if you want, or you could set him on revival when it's a standard attack. Either one's very similar to Edo Sasori in that regard, but yeah, Sage Kabuto is there to really recalculate. He can really lower initiative, but I think in today's meta, there's a lot of chase dodge, and initiative increases are stronger than initiative decreases here. So Sage Kabuto, while nice, he's not immune to status either, so he can get controlled here. But yeah, he does have some random but powerful ability mystery cooldowns. That's why I'm putting him 14. I might actually put him lower, but who knows. Our Kimono Kakashi is next. So I showed you Edo Itachi last time. I'm showing you Fire Main this time. If there's a support ninja on your opponent's side of the field that you really don't want, you can use Fire Main to immobilize and Kimono Kakashi to remove them from the field for 2 rounds, and then you can let your position 1 do your thing. That's really what Kimono Kakashi is for, but you can also set up, I don't know, Tento Obito, just to maybe someone randomly causes immobilize, you can randomly take someone out. That could work too, but it's really that quite simple. He also reduces the amount of chakra you need. He summons clones, and each clone lowers your chakra need by 5, I think, for each clone, for your mystery for the entire team. So, Edo Madara might be using 30 chakra in round 2 because Kakashi summoned 2 clones or something. That's not that helpful, but it is there. He has some sort of Kamui tag, which actually doesn't matter too much, but yeah, that ability there has a high cooldown, but it could also be like a blitz sort of, I'm going to take away your support until later. and then I'll win with my position 1 because of it. Yeah. Edo Sasori here just to support Edo Madara. I could do Edo Nagato too, bro. Edo Nagato. Okay, Black Zetsu. So a lot of people don't know his abilities. He causes guaranteed immobilize against a Jinchuriki, which means you can use this as like against a position 1. However, it doesn't work against Susanoo Shisui. It doesn't work against Edo Madara because they're not Jinchurikis. And so, but it works against 6 Past Naruto and Tenno's Obito, which is why I put him so low on the list. If he was able to immobilize somebody without even thinking about control, because he's guaranteed to immobilize and he suppresses immunity to status, then I would actually put him like in the top 10. But he doesn't. He only does this to half of the most used ninjas at the moment, so we're just gonna leave him here, right? But yeah, I just throw him with Tendo's Obito just in case, you know, if there's a Tendo's Obito versus Tendo's Obito fight, then this Black Zetsu can suppress the other Obito, and then your own Obito might be able to kill the rest of the team. Yeah, just scaling and all that stuff. Okay, Founder Madara's next, simply because, well, he's immune to taijutsu, which is actually starting to get important because Zabuzas are here. Zabuzas, I occasionally see one, but yeah, Founder Madara is immune to that. He also reduces critical rate, which gives you a lot of extra damage, also helps you defend, so attack, offense. Literally any team could work with here, but yeah, Konoha ninjas, he gets extra chakra when Konoha ninjas use their mystery cooldowns. I mean, use their mysteries. And so really any team could work. I just randomly threw in Kimono Shisui and Kushina. All Konoha ninjas are going to get enough chakra whenever you use your mystery. So yeah, you can use all your mysteries in one round when this happens. But yeah, I just like him for lowering his critical rates on your opponent whenever they hit him. Okay, Edo Sasori and Edo Nagato is only really useful, I'd say, for Edo Madara. I mean, Tendo's Obito kind of, but Edo Madara the most. Tendo's Obito doesn't really actually need his mystery to be very powerful. It's extra, it's nice, but I guess some of the abilities clash with Edo Nagato. For example, the Chase, Repulse Knockdown, increasing mystery cooldown by 1, unless you have like 3 knockdown repulses, or at least maybe 2. Tendo's Obito won't work too well with Chase with Edo Nagato, but Edo Nagato does make mysteries unmissable as long as you have Rinnegan. And Edo Sasori, well, they're helpful for each other, right? Yeah, this is a very standard team for Edo Madara. So it's really for Edo Madara, but not so much. There's better supports for Obito. Last but not least, Kimono Itachi. Okay, people forget about this, but Kimono Itachi has a barrier that doesn't allow people to standard attack if they have more than 50 chakra. And you can actually aim it at somebody, interrupt them, and increase their mystery cooldown by 2. He also dodges mysteries, but not standards or chases. To 2 mysteries, to be exact. So this is risky, but this could be used against Shisui. I think this is probably a forgotten tactic that people don't think about. You can make Shisui unable to use standard attacks for 2 rounds, as long as they don't use something like, a barrier changer, basically. But in a Susanoo Shisui battle, people don't really want to use Jiraiya, because Jiraiya will cause extreme chaos, which gives Susanoo Shisui an extra standard attack, because it reflects off him too. So yeah, Kimono Itachi, also increasing mystery cooldown by 2, is also just quite nice. Okay, I actually might put him higher, but we'll see, because I don't think people remember him. GNW Obito is last on the list, simply because, well, he makes it so that if you're interrupted, you can use your mystery again. Doesn't give you back the chakra, but he also removes somebody from the field in round 2, which is risky because it's round 2. But if you throw in something like Orochimaru with all these defense and resistance, it's an extra threat, and people have to control him, or else your position 1 will be removed from the field, and then your position 1 will kill the other side. I just put Tobirama here because he just works so well with GNW Orochimaru's Edo Hokages. But yeah, GNW Obito, while risky, also has some pretty strong benefits if your opponent is not ready for him. Okay, so these are my top. Oh, wait, sorry, last one. Takakaran, just a decent healer, right? A healer that gets extra healing whenever someone uses a mystery. But there's a lot of irremovable ignition now, so Tsunade's would be ahead, and Karin, while nice, while her mystery also, I guess, can stop people from getting buffs and shields, is actually not that powerful, but as a healer, she's the next best healer after Tsunade. Okay, so these are my top 21 supports of 2022. I'm sure a lot of you will disagree, and this is complicated. So, just comment below what you think should be on here, what should be better, what should be worse, what did I not put on here, did I forget something? Go ahead and tell me, and yeah. So, Inoichi Yamanaka breakthrough? No. No, just no. Alright guys, I'm going to try to keep this video short, so if you guys have something else, make sure to comment on this video. Thanks for coming. Make sure to come look in the descriptions for the Coffin Community Discord, and I'll see you guys next time. Cheers.